Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be looking at a different type of game. In our last one we looked at a story. In this one we're doing the crab game. So to start with, we better give it a title. So up here where it says untitled, let's call it crab game. And we're going to be getting rid of our current sprite. We're going to go into background, so we're going to find a background and we want to be going outdoors. I'll be wanting a beach scene and you'll see why shortly, but we'll try this. And I want to get a couple of sprites. Well, we'll focus on the first one, and I would like you to do this one because we need somebody who is walking. So Avery walking is the one I would suggest. Let's make her a little bit smaller, and then I'll tell you what's going to happen. So this sprite here needs to keep themselves away from another sprite that is going to chase them. So it's this sprite, Avery walking, is the one that we are going to be controlling using arrow keys. So that's the type of code we're going to be needing to put in. Let me show you how to do that. So what we have events, and we're going to need to use when, whatever, several times. So I'm actually going to pull this out 4 times, and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, so we've got 4 directional arrows. So we're going to need to have it going up, we need to have it going down, we need to have it going right, and we need to have it going left. So what are we going to do when we press each of these arrows? Well, we need to point our Avery Walker in the appropriate direction. So to do that, we will need to go to motion. And we're going to need to look for point towards, or point in direction. So I'm going to pull this one out. And I'm going to pull this out 4 times. And while I'm still here, I'm going to move this out 4 times as well. So whatever direction we're going to go in, it's going to be at the same speed. Now you'll notice that at the moment all the directions are pointing in the same direction, so we definitely need to change that. So if we just click on it, we've got this lovely little counter here, and we want the first one to be at 0. We want the next one to be at 180. We want the third one to be at 90, so we can leave that. And we want the other one here to be at minus 90 degrees. So that's how they do it. Okay, so let's just see how that works. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to move my arrow. And we'll make this girl go be a bit like Spider-Man, and then this way, and this way, and this way, whoops-a-daisy, and that way. There we go. So we have our directions going, and we can move our sprite. So on to the second one now, the chasing sprite. So we're going to need to choose our second sprite. And because we are on the beach, I am going to go for a crab. Right, and our crab's a little bit too big, so I'm going to resize it down to 80. And we need to go and do a couple of things. Well, the first thing is, and we'll see why it all ties in, I want you to go to, with the crab selected, to go to sound. We don't need pop, but go and choose And what I would like you to go and find is this. So type in here the word scream. And you can hear them here. We'll choose this one. So I'm going to choose that. So back into the code, which is currently blank. And let's go and put this code in and I'll explain what is happening. So when clicked, we need to set a score. So here's something new. We're going to create a variable, and the variable is going to contain the number of times our crab touches that girl. So to create a variable, which is essentially a container, we go to this place called variables, and we want to make a variable, and we're going to call it score. Make sure for all sprites is clicked and click OK. And our score is going to be up there. Now, we need to set our score to 0, which is what you would expect. You know, we haven't started the game yet, so the score is 0. Now we want to have this thing going, this crab working hard in a loop. So we'll need to have the forever loop. So it's going to be chasing this person forever until we stop them. Now then, the crab needs to be chasing this girl. So it will need to go and point towards. So it's always going to point towards, not the mouse counter, but the walker. And it's going to be moving at a much slower pace to the girl, but nevertheless moving. So it's going to be at 2 steps. Now this forever is called a control structure, and it will go round and round and round. So whatever is found within this forever loop, you are going to have it go for all the time. But there is a different type of control structure, which is this, and it's an if statement. So I'm going to put that inside our for loop, but here a decision is made. So if something happens, then go and do what happens in this block here. So if, well, what's going to happen if something is touching? So if the crab touches the Avery Walker, then do these 2 things. First of all, we want the crab to laugh. And so we'll have this one in here. So it's going to touch the walker or nip the walker and have a bit of a chuckle. And we want to change that score. So we want to change the score by 1, and then we're going to wait a couple of seconds so the person can get away. So we have to go to control and wait and change that to 2. Right, let's see how that works. So I need to get ready now, and I'm going to click go, and up we go, and I've been caught. And off we go again. So I'm trying to get away, not very successfully, but you can see that the crab is after me. Okay, and stop. Right, so there's a really simple game. Okay, go and have a go, and I'll see you in the next exercise. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.